Well, soon the English supporters and the Scottish supporters alike will have plenty to cheer, because here come the teams, led by the referee and linesman from East Germany, the referee Rudi Glockner, one of the very best in the world. England on the right, led by skipper Alan Ball, Scotland skipper Sandy Jardine, and if we go down the England line past Ray Clements, Steve Whitworth and David Johnson, we'll come in a moment to Kevin Beattie. They look relaxed. The Scots, though, will be full of confidence, and there is Kevin Keegan, the man who 3 days ago went away from the England camp because he was dropped for the game against Wales. He apologised to Don Revie and they had a heart-to-heart talk. And the upshot of that is that Kevin Keegan is back in the England side for this massive occasion here at Wembley today. Well, his manager at Liverpool, Bob Paisley, wondered whether he would be psychologically right for it. But certainly it's wide open now for Kevin Keegan to show England what he's worth today. Colin Todd behind him. And Dave Watson. But the Scots come here with tremendous confidence after their wonderful fight back in Cardiff last Saturday, when they drew 2-2 with Wales after being 2 down. And a really excellent, well-balanced performance that produced a 3-0 victory against Northern Ireland on Tuesday night in Glasgow. A man with a lot on his mind, England manager Don Revie, and a man who is hoping above all for a great Scottish victory here today. On the right, Scottish manager Willie Ormond. Skipper Alan Ball. Steve Whitworth, who's perhaps been a surprise element in this home international, the young Leicester City fullback. And the Minister of Sport, Dennis Howe, will have the teams presented to him. Kennedy, the goalkeeper, and Bruce Rioch. Rioch, who, of course, is an Englishman. Danny McGrain, who fractured his skull 3 years ago. What a tremendous comeback he's had. Kenny Dalglish and Alfie Conn, whose father also played for Scotland. Derek Parlane, Ted McDougall, who snaps up those unexpected goals. Gordon McQueen, who's only playing, of course, because he's barred from the European Cup final for Leeds when he was sent off in Barcelona. Frank Monroe, good, solid, consistent performer for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arthur Duncan, this flying winger, and the last Hibernian winger, incidentally, to play at Wembley for Scotland was no less than Willie Ormond. Sir Andrew Stephen there with Dennis Howe, coming to Alan Ball. And Ray Clements. Steve Whitworth is there. And David Johnson has scored those 2 goals against Wales on Wednesday. Kevin Beattie, his Ipswich teammate. Colin Bell. Don Revie clearly banked on experience today. Mike Shannon is next to him. Jerry Francis. I wonder if he'll have a word with Kevin Keegan. Yes, he has. Colin Todd and David Watson. And it's tradition that England-Scotland matches have a foreign referee, Rudi Glockner of East Germany, with his 2 East German linesmen. And he tells us he will in fact be using yellow cards and red cards for cautions and sending off should they be necessary this afternoon, to get over obviously the language difficulty. And now the national anthem. So Kevin Keegan, as you see, in the England side. Don Revie, his experiments for the moment are over. He's gone solidly for experience, with Kevin Beattie of Ipswich back after a groin injury in the number 3 shirt. Bell and Ball and Francis in the middle of the field. Shannon Johnson and Keegan, the man that Don Revie will be looking for to put right the thing that has been wrong with English football for the last few months, the scoring of goals. And the Scottish side, while of course delight everywhere in Scotland that Alfie Conn, who came on as a substitute against Northern Ireland in Glasgow on Tuesday, now gets a game from the start. This is the side that finished against Northern Ireland. It looks a well-balanced side. Probably the best part of their side last Tuesday was the back four of Jardine Munro, McQueen and McGrain, who looked really solid, and the brilliant form in the middle of the field of Kenny Dalglish. It's a very good-looking Scottish side, and Alfie Conn, whose father also played for Scotland when he was with Heart of Midlothian, a man who did so much to keep Tottenham in the First Division here in England in the last few weeks of this season. An exciting player. Gerry Francis there with Colin Viljoen, one of the English substitutes, who I think will be a little sore at losing his England place. And Kevin Beattie, Viljoen's teammate from Ipswich, who injured a groin in a testimonial match for Colin Harper, had to come off against Cyprus, but is now fully fit again. Derek Dougan was always saying that Frank Munro of Wolverhampton was worth a Scottish place. It took rather a long time for Willie Orman to agree with him, but Munro was really excellent against Ireland and fully deserves to keep his place. I think probably he's helped by the fact that Martin Buchan is injured. A lot depending upon how much Alan Ball can keep his side going and lift them. His form has wavered a little bit over the last few games, and there's been a certain amount of criticism of him, but he loves to beat Scotland. Well, and if they're going to beat Scotland, there's the man they've got to beat, Stuart Kennedy, an ex-miner. In fact, he was down the mines 2 years ago and looked to be on the football slag heap. Used to play for Stenhousemuir, and now has had a tremendous season with Glasgow Rangers, helping them to the championship. Danny McGrain of Celtic, as I say, 3 years ago fractured his skull, and the man, so many people say, is not an international class player, but one who does score those vital goals, Ted McDougall. Sandy Jardine on the right, Alan Ball on the left, Rudy Glockner of East Germany the referee, and it seems that Alan Ball has won that anyhow. And it looks as though they're going to change over. Dennis Law, any last-minute thoughts?
Not really, Brian. I think that, as we all here are expecting a great game, let's hope that they play the foot, because I can't see in any of the two teams anybody defensive, really. It's not a defensive England or Scotland team, and I hope that we see plenty of goals.
Well, if we were going to be diplomatic, we would say, I suppose, that we hope it's a draw. Bill Shankly was also saying before the start that when he was here in 1938, Harry Lauder made a speech before the start where he tried to be diplomatic and said he hoped to finish in a draw, 1-0 to Scotland. Well, we shall have to wait and see whether we get that sort of result today. Ray Clements, who I'm sure will be shaking hands as they go by, yes, with Stuart Kennedy. Derek Parlane, who scored a beautiful third goal for Scotland against Northern Ireland and made the first one against Wales last Saturday down at Cardiff. The East German referee in a tangerine shirt, black shorts, so Scotland in dark blue with white shorts and red socks. Kick off against England in white with blue shorts, Scotland attacking the goal to our right. McDougall taking it on his chest. Dalglish finding Rioch, and a free kick given away by Gerry Francis, but clearly showing his intention there of stifling Rioch with quick tackling in the very first seconds of the game. Rioch, an Englishman, born in Aldershot. His father was a soldier, but a Scottish soldier. Munro with the kick. And Watson not quite sure where it was, but now with a chance to play a short one to Colin Bell. He's under a bit of pressure there. And I think there must be a free kick there. Alfie Conn. Whitworth will take the free kick for England. Scotland won this match, of course, last year 2-0. But they've won only one of the last 8 encounters between these two sides. McQueen. Good ball there by McQueen to Sandy Jardine. A full-back with a lot of pace. And another free kick given away by Gerry Francis. Another free kick to Scotland. And already taken. It's with Rioch. Ball just half stopping him, but here's Jardine. Oh, that came almost to Dalglish. Ball selling a nice little dummy on Dalglish. Here's Kevin Keegan, just keeping it in. Rioch going with him. And the cross coming in towards David Johnson, but the 4 or 5 Scottish defenders were back there in the line. McGrain. Munro. Long ball forward, searching out Parlane, but Watson turns it away. Could be on the move from Sunderland, of course, Big Dave Watson. Bit of squirming and fidgeting going on that bench. England on the left, Scotland on the right. Duncan now, Arthur Duncan. What a good ball. McDougall in a bit of space if he can get it across. Parlane might get a chance of a shot. No, he missed his kick. And Ball and Beattie got it away, but only as far as Jardine. And the Scots showing a lot of aggression. Dalglish is offside. Linesman had his flag up way before it came through to Dalglish. But we've got a very good example there of the reflexes of Ray Clements. And it'll be a free kick to England.
Well, Brian, there I think that we saw the attacking potential of Scotland. I mean, the game's only started a few minutes and we've had 2 skirmishes already. I think that this could turn out to be a great game.
Shannon poised underneath this one, but beaten by Munro. Ball trying to find Francis. Now here's Shannon. Still Shannon, stopped well though by Munro. And a free kick to England. Well, the East German referee is hot on everything and allowing no physical contact at all. It's an indirect free kick. And that's from behind Stuart Kennedy's goal. It's almost dead centre, about 25 yards out. Ball is standing over it, and the Scottish wall won't go back the full 10 yards. Ball, flicking it up there for Beattie. He might get a left foot shot, but it's charged down by Rioch. Todd for England. Johnson, Francis, Shannon. Francis again. Oh, he's shaken off Jardine there. And that's a good shot. Oh, it's there! Gerry Francis! Oh, Gerry Francis, a beautiful goal. He shook off that Scottish defender, and a rocketing shot with only 5 minutes gone. Francis the scorer, and what a tremendous goal. Dennis.
Oh, this is tremendous move here. He did tremendous. He shook off a couple of defenders, and he let whack. Look at this. What? My God, what a goal. And what a bad start for Scotland.
I don't think Kennedy knew anything about it. And Francis scores the vital opening goal for England. Well, 5 minutes gone, and a hammer blow for Scotland. And it was a hammer blow by this fellow from, what, 20 yards. But truly magnificent goal. Now Bell. McGrain. Watson. Oh, and he's given it away to Dalglish. Still with Kenny Dalglish. A free kick given away by Francis on that occasion. That's the third free kick that Francis has given away. And it'll be a free kick to Scotland. Here we come again. Well, I don't know, it looked to me a bit like a dive. It's with Alfie Conn now for Scotland. Now Francis, chipping it forward to Ball. Back again to Francis, it'll give England a lot of confidence, that goal. And it's showing there as Keegan takes it up. And Beattie is the only man up with him, of all people, the fullback. The chip comes in towards Beattie, and it's there again! 2-0! 2 goals in the first 6 minutes! And Kevin Beattie and Kennedy can't believe it! Whether he's knocked himself out, or whether he just can't believe the blows that have hit Scotland, I don't know. But that's 2 minutes gone, a great run by Kevin Keegan, and just look how Beattie comes in to win it against Jardine, and again wide of Stuart Kennedy in that Scottish goal. Dennis Law, what about that?
Oh, this is a terrible start for Scotland. It was a great ball by Kevin Keegan, but even so, I mean, Beattie should have been marked far, far more closely in that. This is a bad start for Scotland.
And that's a bad thing to see as well. And the policemen are advancing. The Scots have come down here to support their side, and I hope to support them properly. They are terrible blows for men who've travelled 500 miles and walked the last 8 to find their side down 2 goals in the first 6 minutes. But still, they are singing, the Scottish fans, hoping to raise this Scottish side. But what a tremendous piece of running by Beattie, and all that excitement. It's incredible to think that the England number 3 was the man who was furthest forward when Keevan made that run. Now it's with Duncan, and the Scots badly need a goal now to get themselves back in it. Well, Don Revie on the left. I should think he's probably more relieved now than at any time since he took over as England manager. And Willie Ormond on the right knows just how big the problem is. Dennis, would you in any way fault Stuart Kennedy in the Scottish goal for either of those?
Well, the first goal, I mean, no way can anybody stop a shot like that, I'm sure. The second goal, you know, was a high cross into the goal, but even so, I blame the defence really for not marking Beattie. It was a sort of looping header really, which Kennedy could only really watch going to the net. But what a terrible start for Scotland, Brian.
Another throw for England. It's going to be very hard for even a well-balanced and confident side, which is the way Scotland came to Wembley. It'll be very hard for any side to come back from those sort of blows in the first 6 minutes of an international. 2 down, Whitworth now with the free kick for England. Keegan's header to Alan Ball. Johnson playing it wide again for Gerry Francis. Ball wanting to get in on the action again, and here's Beattie, the man who loves to come forward, and there's the cross, but it's behind for a goal kick. What a comeback to international football for him. He seemed to be making that number 3 spot his own, and then he injured a groin, had to come out of the game against Cyprus after injuring it again. Missed the home internationals so far, and what an impact he's made already, Kevin Beattie. So too has Gerry Francis, of course. McQueen, Duncan, Ball. Confidence oozing out of this England side at the moment. Everybody wanting the ball, and they're finding each other now with fairly simple, straightforward passes. Keegan, challenged from behind by McQueen. Alfie Conn playing it back to Kennedy. Well, a rather unfair booing there from a few Scottish fans when Kennedy took that one. Jardine, who was beaten in the air by Beattie for that second goal. Munro. Parlane beaten in the air by Beattie. Dalglish. Played inside again towards McDougall. Beattie, Francis, playing it back to Clements. Kevin Beattie for England. Hit towards David Johnson, but he was beaten well in the air by McQueen. Watson going in there. Rioch played for Danny McGrain. Alfie Conn. Well, Bell is very persistent there. Oh, and that was a cheeky back heel though, and Scotland now coming forward with Duncan. McGrain, the early cross going in, Jerry Francis right back there to get it away. Here's Rioch. McQueen. McGrain. Determined to get that one through to Alfie Conn, and he made it. Conn. Ball. Bell. Played wide for Johnson. Almost 1 against 1. Oh. And Munro slipped, and it looked for a moment as though Johnson might get through. But it's a free kick to England. I wish the turf playing 1 or 2 tricks there, although we've had no rain. Jardine, I noticed, slipped when Francis scored that first goal, number 2, and Munro slipped badly there. In fact, Sandy Jardine, the Scottish skipper, has been involved in the wrong sort of way in both those England goals. Bell now running over it. Ball. Beattie going in again, but Rioch got that off. And now Dalglish. And here's McDougall. Watson coming across to challenge, just caught his heel. Bell, Keegan, Whitworth, Shannon. Certainly the best England form we've seen so far in the home internationals this week. Francis, I suppose also the first time they played with real confidence as well. Shannon. And probably feeling their strongest side. Keegan trying a 1-2 again with Shannon. McQueen is right there with him, but it'll be a corner for England. So Scotland organising themselves. Watson coming up for this one. And Parlane is back there with him, and it took Munro's header to get it away. Whitworth the short ball to Alan Ball. Now Duncan, starting from deep. Conn. McDougall's right up. Jardine. Played on nicely there towards Parlane, and a free kick to Scotland. Jardine, who missed his tackle on Francis and really missed the header against Kevin Beattie, the number 2 for Scotland. The Scottish Footballer of the Year as well from Rangers, Sandy Jardine, with the free kick, a deep one on the far side towards Parlane. Good catch by Clements. Beattie. Johnson. Now has he got the legs of Jardine? Conn. Keegan, who really has already amply justified Don Revie's decision to put him in. Beautiful run for that second goal, and an inch-perfect cross. The cross for Kevin Beattie. Watson, McDougall. Todd. Good ball from Todd, always there into the path of Beattie. Now Jardine. Bruce Rioch. Stopped by Francis. And now Johnson trying to turn it on for Shannon. McQueen is there. Rioch. Bell getting in before McDougall. The long ball from Watson. Shannon is after it. It's got to be a free kick. Well, your team have been thrown out of their stride at the moment, Dennis, haven't they?
Oh, this is a terrible start for Scotland, Brian. But when England are attacking, even prior to scoring the first goal, Scotland to me seems quite wide open at the back here. And as we saw there, I mean, it landed up a foul, but they seem very open for long balls for the two front men to run, and I think they've got to close up somewhere along the line.
So it's a free kick to Scotland. Yes, they've got to make sure that the door stays tight shut at the back, haven't they?
Well, Brian, England are playing very compact at the back, whereas Scotland are, you know, to me, seem to be completely open.
It's Rioch then with this free kick for Scotland. Clements, who's had one very good catch to take and taken it well. McQueen's going forward, making a late run, and Shannon's going back with him. Rioch chipping it in towards Gordon McQueen and very nearly got to him. Gerry Francis for England. Just a little too casual there, but Todd is there. I think an offside against McDougall. Telling Dalglish to push up. Now Beattie. Keegan taken from behind. It had to be a free kick. Jardine really had no chance of making contact with the ball before he clattered into the back of the England number 11. Francis. Ball. Played in there towards Shannon, and Keegan couldn't quite get to it, and there's a foul against Shannon. A free kick to Scotland. Watson, ball. Oh, Rioch might get there first. That was a brave challenge by Todd. Oh, and it was also an unfair one according to the referee. Todd had to go in there to stop Rioch going through. Now it's with Duncan on the far side. That looked handball! Well, that looked like handball by Bell inside the box. What did you think of that, Dennis?
Well, from up here, Brian, it certainly looked a penalty to me. Of course, I may be slightly biased.
Here we are, look.
But here it is here.
That surely was handball. Inside the penalty area, or had the whistle gone? Well, Todd is down and injured after that clash with Rioch. I can only assume that the whistle must have gone. Maybe the ball out of play before that developed into that situation. I can't think that Colin Bell would have handled the ball in that situation deliberately.
Well, it certainly looked like it to me, Brian. It certainly looked like a penalty. His hand seemed to come out there. And certainly the whistle didn't go before.
Well, Todd is on his feet again, but Rioch is still receiving a little bit of attention there from Roddy McKenzie. So a throw which Alfie Conn will take for Scotland. Coming up to 20 minutes gone, and England still leading by 2-0. Goal kick. Frank Monroe. Conn to Jardine, to McDougall, taken out of it by Alan Ball. Oh, that looked a perfectly fair challenge to me. I can understand the referee's desire to get right on top of a game where he thinks that the passions are going to be fairly high, but at the same time he's got to give the game a chance. That looked a perfectly fair challenge there by Ball, and that was a good one too by Todd. Beattie. Hit towards Mike Shannon. He tried to play that into the path of Johnson, but it goes straight to Rioch. McDougall. Oh, and he's got Todd on the turn now. Can McDougall do something for Scotland? Very nearly indeed, and Parlane couldn't quite gather it. Todd whacked it away. That was a brilliant piece of play, though. Parlane almost tried to get it in. A great piece of play by McDougall, though. It's not very often you see forwards get the better of Colin Todd in that way. Dalglish. Linesman flagging, referee whistling, free kick to Scotland. Crossed it again towards McDougall. That was Beattie's acrobatic kick away. McQueen. McGrain. Parlane there first. McDougall there also. Is this a chance for Carr? No, and he missed his kick. That looked a little more promising for Scotland, though, Dennis.
Well, that's two attacks in 2 minutes, Brian, and both unlucky. I mean, there's a tremendous header from Parlane there, and McDougall, terrific ball from McDougall there, and he just completely miskicked it. Very unlucky.
Now Johnson. Beaten by McRae, a stubborn fullback. And they're going to need all the fight they've got in them tonight, this afternoon rather, these Scottish players. And Willie Orman knows it. Duncan. Whitworth. Could be quite a battle of pace down that touchline because Duncan is a real flyer and Whitworth is probably as fast as any fullback in the First Division. McDougall. Rioch. Scotland, you sense, inching themselves back into this game bit by bit now. Can Duncan get past Whitworth? There's the answer again. But it's a throw to Scotland. Might be that they've got through their bad patch. They're beginning to put one or two passes together to put a bit of pressure on this England defence. Conn again with a throw. Parlane a good back header. And Beattie, in fact, was instrumental in getting that one away. But here's Rioch spraying it this side to Kenny Dalglish. Dalglish a little lucky, but playing his luck. There's Shannon doing his bit at the back. Straight to Jardine. England's throw. Watson. Ball. Shannon. Francis. Keegan. Now Todd. Time to weigh up the possibilities, and here's Whitworth. Also with time to weigh up the possibilities. Not a good one. But now Todd, oh, and he let that go to Parlane. Obviously thought that Watson was going to get that. There may have been a call. But Todd's right there in the thick of it again. And fouled by McDougall. Keegan to ball. Shannon right up there. Stopped by Alfie Conn. Keegan's bustling in. Ball. Conn. Oh, tackled rather savagely from behind by Colin Bell. 25 minutes gone. England 2 by Francis and Beattie. Scotland 0. McQueen for Scotland. Towards Ted McDougall. And again a free kick. I'm not sure what that was for. He's a good experienced referee, Rudy Glockner, but I think he's tending to maybe whistle just a little too much in this game. Would you agree, Dennis?
Oh, Brian, that was never a foul. He's blowing up for everything at the moment. Why doesn't he try and keep the game flowing?
McQueen winning it in the air. Scotland just keeping possession there, and it's Dalglish, who had such a fine game against Ireland, and they need that sort of form from him again now. Beattie, Keegan. And England's throw quickly taken, and look at the space ahead there of Kevin Beattie. Goal kick to Scotland. Made really a good impression on this English defence, Kevin Beattie. He's added a lot of weight and solidarity to it. But just listen to those Scottish fans. They've recovered a little bit from those shocking blows in the first 6 minutes and are really getting behind their side again. But the score 2-0, you would think all you could hear would be English voices, but it's the Scottish voices that are still being heard in Wembley. In spite of that scoreline, Francis and Beattie the scorers for England. Watson with a header. Johnson now, can Johnson make something of this? McQueen is there, but it's not away by any means. Shannon is right in there as well. McQueen eventually got it away to Alfie Conn. Munro. Jardine. Munro. McQueen. Now McDougall versus Todd again. That's going to be a good battle as well this afternoon. There's Ray Clements. Keegan. Francis. Beattie. Stamp his authority on the middle of the field now, Bruce Rioch. Jardine. Dalglish calling for the ball, and again the battle between Todd and McDougall. McDougall's had one or two things to say for himself in that battle with Todd. Oh, surprisingly, Keegan won that one in the air from McQueen, and it's a free kick to Scotland. Jardine. Parley. Well, that's a fair old tangle. The referee deciding it's a free kick to Scotland. Dalglish. Jardine. Todd behind that one. Dalglish again with a throw for Scotland. Sandy Jardine somehow got that in. Todd coolly away. He's going to take a bit of beating, Colin Todd, this afternoon.
He's played well, Brian, hasn't he?
And Beattie too.
But Scotland are coming back, Brian. They've lost 2 bad goals, but they are gradually coming back.
Well, there's a long one from Kenny Dalglish, way over. I think at the moment England have got the edge in the middle of the field with Ball and Francis in particular, the running of Bell, and the Scots as yet really haven't been able to make an impression there, Dennis.
I think that what I would like to see is the Scotsman, obviously Bruce Rioch, stamp his authority in the middle of the pack, because Scotland's middle of the pack at the moment is non-existent. Well, I'm going to say non-existent. I mean, Kenny Dalglish is playing particularly well, really, but I would like to see more of Bruce Rioch. Now Todd.
Johnson. Shannon on the far side. Bell was arriving late. Dalglish. Well, now, will that get Duncan's legs going? Well, it will, but Watson had about 10 yards on him. McQueen, well up indeed. Duncan again, and Watson. England looking very secure in their back four at the moment. Shannon, played quickly there by Bell for Keegan. McGrain got that one away. Now with Alfie Conn for Scotland. Forward for Parlane. Played for Rioch. Now for Dalglish. That's better by Scotland. Rioch. McGrain. Now Arthur Duncan of Hibernian for Scotland, but he gave it away to Colin Bell. Danny McGrain. Well, he could be getting into a corner, but Munro was there to help him, and Munro puts him back in that corner. Whitworth. Well, that'll fall for Dalglish. That's a good aggressive run by Dalglish, and look at Parlane there. Oh, bad luck for Scotland. Made by the superb running of Kenny Dalglish, just as they did against Ireland. What about that?
Yes, Kenny Dalglish had a tremendous run here, and he laid on a perfect inch pass there. I think he hit the post here, Brian.
Yes, he did.
Just the outside.
Well, a goal then would really have put Scotland back in it, but they are getting back into this game. But Kenny Dalglish, the man who really made that chance for Derek Parlane. Now McDougall. That might well inspire Scotland, and they've got a free kick.
I think, Brian, if Scotland could get a goal here before the interval, then we're going to see a right battle.
Well, they've got 12 minutes left before that interval. Parlane wanting it, being watched though by Beattie. Todd is right there. Francis is back for England as McQueen plants a high one again. And now Dalglish, but he's bundled away for the corner by Gerry Francis. That was a perfect example a moment ago of Kenny Dalglish, what he can do, really taking the initiative in the middle of the field. That's what Scotland have got to do, to wrest this initiative from the England midfield. Keegan there at the near post with Colin Bell. Dalglish with a corner, Francis getting it away. McQueen missing his kick. Alfie Conn with a shot.
Well, that was a tremendous shot from Alfie Conn. McQueen missed it, but it came to Conn, who let fly here with... I don't know if it was offside or anything, Brian, but it certainly...
Yeah, I think there might have been an offside there.
Although he hasn't given it.
Dalglish. Well, they're putting behind the memory of those horrific first 6 minutes now, Scotland, when they conceded those two goals. In fact, over the last quarter of an hour, they've looked the more aggressive and the more confident side. Rioch. Whitworth heading that one away. Ball pushed in the back, or in fact kicked in the back, and Ball not happy with that challenge by Rioch. And listen to those Scottish fans again. Now for Alan Ball. I think the significance, Dennis, of Kenny Dalglish, when Kenny Dalglish came forward in that way. It's the thing that he's got to do to put that little bit more pressure and unsettle the England back four.
Well, as you said, Brian, I think the midfield, the Scottish midfield has got to come more into the game. We've seen the real just the last few minutes there, but Dalglish is playing brilliant.
Munro, McQueen. Inside the last 10 minutes of the first half now. McDougall for Scotland to Arthur Duncan. McGrain going on the outside, but Whitworth had every chance of making the challenge. Still McGrain. Now Collin. And now Rioch. Onto that left foot. All the shots are coming from Scotland at the moment. Clement's telling the ball boy to slow it down a little bit, to give England time to compose themselves. At the moment they're being overrun by the Scots coming forward with a lot of fire and venom. Rioch again, asserting himself much more in the middle of the field for Scotland. Shannon. Neat control there. Keegan's gone on a run for him, and McQueen had spotted him. My, how he spotted him. So Keegan going into that Scottish penalty area, watched by Gordon McQueen, who's got several inches on him. Now Munro has taken over Keegan. Johnson is there, and McQueen's coming towards him. Goal kick.
I think, Brian, we could sense that Scotland obviously are coming back into the game, and as you said before, if they could only get a goal now, I think England are in for a very hard second half.
Watson, McQueen, winning it well. Here's Jardine. Dalglish. Stopped by Bell. Jardine again. To McGrain. Duncan. I say he's one of the players I've enjoyed watching in this home international, Arthur Duncan. There's tremendous runs of his down the wing for Scotland. We haven't seen very many of them this afternoon yet. McQueen. And Munro showing coolness, coming forward. But Shannon doing a fair bit of hustling between those two. Beattie. Francis, who's faded a little bit in the middle of the field after a brilliant start. Rioch. And England fighting for that ball and eventually winning it and sending David Johnson of Ipswich on his way. Shannon's right in there too. Still with Johnson, now with Shannon. And McQueen and Munro closing the door. Ball. Watson. Flick for Bell. A little chip this time for Francis. Ball away on the left for him, so is Beattie. Number 3, Beattie. Francis. Shannon. Francis again. Several good passes now by England. Colin Bell. Still with Colin Bell. Oh, number 3 by Bell! Well, what a beautiful passing movement. Short, simple passes there. There's one of them by Shannon through to Francis, who'd made the first one. Another one there, slipping in for Keegan. Laid back this time for Bell. Bell going through the challenge of Danny McGrain. The ball filing nicely for him. 3-0 to England. Well, Dennis, you were are saying what Scotland need is a goal.
Dear. Brian, that is well, the first 2 goals were bad enough, but I think that one just really more or less seals it, and it's not even half-time yet. Gerry Francis, who was going out of the game, come back there with some tremendous short passing. Colin Bell got the break of the ball, of course, but he made the best of it.
Now Con. Watson missing his kick. McDougall can't get in, and he's given a penalty. A penalty to Scotland. There was a handball there. I think it was probably Watson, or maybe it was Todd. Here's the slow-mo now. Who took, whose handball was it? Not there. Well, if you saw it, you were better than I, but the referee was right there. Rudy Glockner. Gerry Francis having a word with Ray Clements, maybe telling him which side Bruce Rioch will take the penalty, or rather which side he will hit it. Rioch versus Clements. And it's there for Scotland. Well, that's one of the coolest penalties you'll see at Wembley. He actually did a dummy there. Look at that for coolness. A dummy, a stop, a run forward, and perfectly placed by Bruce Rioch. England 3, Scotland 1.
Well, it puts a wee bit different light on the game now, Brian. We're sort of back in it again. We deserve it anyway, I'm sure.
That sounds like a Scottish voice talking. But now it's Beattie for England. It's going to be a corner for England.
Well, Brian, I think we said there's going to be plenty of goals.
Well, I think that was one of the things we said during On the Ball at lunchtime, and 3-1 before half-time. And here are England on the attack again now with this corner from Kevin Keegan. McQueen getting up very well there. Bell. Still with Bell. Francis just keeping it in. Taking on McGrain. Bell supporting him. The early cross, and a good one too. Ball going in, but beaten by Dalglish. And now Scotland coming forward once more. Oh, McGrain's missed that one. It was played behind him. It wasn't his fault. And it's Francis now trying to get Shannon away. And McQueen had gone with him. Rioch. Munro. And now Jardine. Con. Ball going in hard on Dalglish, and Dalglish got the better of him. And now here's McDougall for Scotland. Stopped well by Kevin Beattie. And so it'll be a corner to Scotland. A matter of a minute and a half to go to half-time. And if the Scots could only pull one back now, what a second half we'd have. Bell at the near post. Keegan is there as well. Clements wants a bit of order in that England defence. Dalglish with the deep corner, and Clements using his fist to get it away. Con now for Scotland, playing it for Rioch. Playing it wide now for Dalglish. That's another good cross, and Todd was there that time. Jardine over the crossbar, and a goal kick to England. Well, a really high-class home international. And in fact, the home internationals right the way through have been so much better than anybody expected. And this one seals it. Ball to Whitworth. Shannon. Now McGrain. But the whistle had gone for half-time, with Scotland 3-1 down. The England goals by Gerry Francis and Kevin Beattie both coming in the first 6 minutes of the game. Colin Bell adding the third, and within a minute of Colin Bell doing that, Scotland get a penalty and Rioch coolly plants that one home. So those are the goal scorers, and I fancy there might be more in the second half. We're going to take a short break now as the England players and the Scottish players leave the field. A half-time score of England 3, Scotland 1. We'll be right back after this break with comments from Denis Law and Francis Lee. And welcome back to Wembley as the teams come back onto the field again. The feeling I think that most people have is that it could be a very exciting and a very closely fought second half. The Scots given a bit of encouragement by that penalty from Bruce Rioch. And it could well be for these England players quite a strong battle in the second half of this international. Bell, who scored the third goal for England, that looked to put everything beyond reach of the Scots. But still, the flags of Scotland are seen waving right around this stadium. And Kevin Beattie, who had a tremendous first half, and as Francis Lee was saying at half-time, did so well to get in that position and head the ball without fouling Sandy Jardine for that second England goal. The police are here in great strength, and the kilts are here in great strength as well, and they're going to take a bit of subduing. Kevin Keegan, who really has amply justified Don Reevy's decision to have him in the side. So 45 minutes to go, and some of the Scottish fans have got probably the best position in the whole of the stadium. Well, I hope they think their climb is worthwhile. And Rudy Glockner then looking at his watch, and away we go in the second half. England now attacking the goal to our right, leading by 3 goals to 1. Alan Ball. Francis, good aggressive run again, and a shot that is not very far over that Scottish crossbar. That's the sort of run that we saw from Kenny Dalglish, another Scottish fan on the pitch incidentally, which is a nuisance, and I hope that doesn't become a recurring nuisance in this second half. Sure, the Scottish players would want to see him off the field because they want to get on with the game. In fact, Gordon McQueen is really giving him some stick, telling him to get off. And a policeman is on the field. Look at McQueen telling him to get off, because the Scottish players want to get on with this game. They realise only too well that they are 3-1 down and they want to knuckle down to the job in hand. And that silly supporter is doing nothing for his team. Gordon McQueen saying to Rudy Glockner, I hope you're going to add on the time for it. And he's pointing, I think, to both his linesmen. I've not seen that before, and to all the players saying, I'm adding on 1 minute for that. Well, that was interesting. Good jump by Todd. Dalglish now. Jardine. Beattie there. Timing his challenge well. Well, one of the unsavoury sights at Wembley, when there's so much good stuff to be looked at here as well. It's a free kick then to Scotland. Sandy Jardine taking it. A good deep one there towards Scotland. Watson way up above them all. And Dalglish not getting it at all well. Certainly Willie Ormond has resisted any temptation at the moment to substitute anybody. If he substitutes anybody, Francis Lee, who do you think Willie might bring on?
I think he's going to bring on a front. He's going to bring on a front player because they haven't been too effective. You know, the midfield players have done quite well.
So it's a free kick to England. Todd again. Why that? In fact, by an optical illusion, a few thousand in the crowd thought that had gone in, but Kennedy really was in a bit of trouble there. Had to watch that right the way over. McDougall won that in the air, but Beattie is there for England. Out of play, throw to England. That's Arthur Duncan. Ball with the throw for England. McGrain getting in first. Duncan. Conn having it knocked off his head by Shannon. Scotland's throw. Duncan seeking out Rioch. Played forward first time towards Parlane, but there's that man Todd again. Now Beattie. Watson. Bell. Keegan, oh, a nice little dummy there actually for Francis, but McQueen stuck with him, forced Francis back. Here's Beattie, and now Watson. England's throw, Jerry Francis. Shannon. That was handball by Jardine and a free kick to England. Ball was moving when Alan Ball took it, but here's Mike Shannon. Now can this be another one for England? Keegan tried to screw it in, and it didn't go for him, and here's Dalglish. Jardine. McDougall turning it in. Keegan right back there to Rob Dalglish. Watson. Francis to Bell, good combination again there for England. And a push in the back gives England a free kick. David Johnson's had a relatively quiet game. McQueen, though, is making sure that it stays quiet by keeping pretty close to him. But here's Jerry Francis. Keegan trying to slice it towards Beattie. McDougall getting it away, but it was the clearance of a desperate man. Watson. Now Shannon. Played for Beattie again. Oh my goodness, that looked for a moment from this angle as though it might swerve in. Parlane won it well in the air. McDougall there as well. And Todd, oh, he's giving it back. Could this be the one there? Duncan's there. Oh, and into the side netting. Well, that was the moment that could have put Scotland right back in the game. And it was presented to them by England. Dennis?
Well, what a bad pass back for England here, but Duncan took it well. I think if he had gone down there, he might have got a pen, but he took it round, and he was very unlucky not to get it in the back of the net. That was a bad blow for Scotland, that.
I began to think that Colin Todd never made those sort of mistakes. Francis?
No, it is very unusual for Toddy to do that, but the fella came from the blind side, and I think Toddy couldn't see him. He was behind the defender.
Now it's with Duncan, the man who might have scored that second goal for Scotland, and what a difference that would have made. But Rioch Just shows you how wide open this game is still. England have this 2-goal lead, but they're by no means home and safe yet, as Scotland get another corner. Duncan will take it. McQueen is up there again. Beattie watching him. It's aimed towards Gordon McQueen, and in fact it was Alfie Conn who hit it on the volley. And almost into the next borough. Slightly ambitious shot, that one, Francis.
Yeah, I think it would win the goal of about 3 seasons if that one would have gone in.
Scotland have got Big Tom Hutchison warming up on the other side, the Coventry winger. Duncan. Ball, playing a short one to Francis. Now Keegan. Johnson rather, Francis, Keegan, ball, Francis. Playing short passing and inviting the Scots to come and get it, which they've done. And Beattie turns it back. I'm wondering whether Hutchison will come on in place of Duncan, or whether he will keep Duncan on and try to keep a bit of pace down both touchlines. Won't be long before we know, because Hutchison's now got that shirt off, number 15 showing. McGrain, Rioch, Watson determined to get there first, Johnson. England playing with a little bit more polish and style than they did towards the end of this half, the first half, rather than the way they did in the first 10 minutes of the first half. McQueen. Well, he's given a corner. So it'll be a corner to England, and McQueen could quite easily have stopped that going over. And Tom Hutchison's coming on. And in fact, it's Arthur Duncan who's going off. So one fast-raiding winger is being substituted by another. Briefly, Dennis, do you agree with that?
Well, it's a bit unfortunate, Brian, to anybody be substituted at Wembley. I think Duncan did it, extremely well with the time he was on.
Here comes the corner for England to David Johnson. And a goal kick.
With Tommy Hutchison coming on, of course, Brian, he's got a bit more scope. He could beat men, so something might come from that.
McQueen getting underneath this one, but challenged by Johnson. Bell right in there, Johnson turning it on now for Mike Shannon. Good piece of play there by Shannon. And he's got a corner for England, off Alfie Conn. Space was very limited there for Shannon, but he did well to beat McGrain. In fact, if he got that crossing a little quicker, it could have been very dangerous indeed. But it's a corner for England, Ball taking it. Not away yet by any means, Colin Bell right in there. Shannon was in there, McGrain very bravely got that away, because Shannon's feet were high. A free kick to Scotland. 12 minutes of the second half gone. The last time Scotland won here was 1967, when they won 3-2. Good jump by Parlane. Now McDougall again, turning on Todd. Todd again there. Keegan in first, a foul by Rioch, right under the referee's eye, and a free kick to England. little patchy at the moment, this second half, not really matching the excitement and the flow of the game that we enjoyed so much in the first half. Shannon wanting the ball high. Beattie playing it short. And Keegan chesting it down there for ball. Francis turning it on for Shannon though. And again he's got past McGrain. And there's the cross. What a pity for England. Did everything right there, Mike Shannon. It seemed that he had so much time and indeed a little bit of space there to get a much more accurate cross than that. Mind you, it's much easier playing up in the commentary box, Francis, isn't it?
Yes, I think this is the fact that when you set up here, it looks so easy. But Mike Shannon there, the ball just bobbled as he was going to cross it, and I think that's where the trouble lay.
Hutchison. Rioch. Munro. And a throw given to Scotland. Sandy Jardine, the skipper, with it. Coming up to a quarter of an hour of the second half gone. Scotland obviously in need to get that second goal fairly quickly now to give them time to launch a really big attack on England in the last minutes. A side really that has played really quite well, Scotland here, but totally destroyed by the first 6 minutes of the game. Todd in first, here's Bell. Cobb taking it off him, Bell trying perhaps to be just a little too ambitious there. Almost the first touch now for Hutchison, and Bell gets it away from him. A slip pass here now for Johnson. McGrain is after him, and he's found Kenny Dalglish. Bad ball, giving Rioch no chance and Francis every chance. Now Francis a little lucky to get it back again. Johnson's gone on ahead of him. Keegan begging for the ball on his touchline. Now he gets it. Ball supporting Keegan. Here's Ball. Whitworth, not a good ball from his skipper, but he made it into a good one off Keegan, and now Hutchison can stretch his legs. Well, he didn't take the opportunity. Alan Ball to Colin Bell, played on to Keegan, good play by England. On now towards Shannon. Free kick to England.
I think we saw though with Tommy Hutchinson, the lad has got a lot of pace. It looks as though, you know, it showed us that he hasn't played for about 3 or 4 weeks, you know.
Now Francis. Johnson to Keegan. Oh, and he hit his own man. Straight in the back of David Johnson. That shot from Kevin Keegan. Now Parley. Rioch trying to spray it forward again towards McDougall. It's a good point that Francis makes about the number 15, Tommy Hutchison. Wouldn't have played for a few weeks. He'd be short of match practice, and it's difficult enough always, and in any case, for a substitute to come on and get into the tempo of a game, particularly an international game. So it won't be an easy half hour for Tommy Hutchison. McGrain, the backward header, and Shannon almost got in there. Munro for Scotland. Being shouted on by the Scottish fans. They want the ball pushed forward a little quicker than that. It's no good giving away a ball, and Munro, I'm sure, was right. Dennis, they seem to have lost a little bit of their bite in this second half, Scotland, that they showed just before half-time.
Well, I see there, Brian, that Frank Munro couldn't find a man. You know, the midfield men weren't looking for the ball there. He had to get rid of it, which was unfortunate. So we really want the middlemen to be looking for the ball.
Now Hutchison, and there's a pass that goes straight to Keegan. And England now have sprung men forward, and Bell has gone forward at a tremendous rate of knots. Down he goes, free kick. Hutchison, who gave the ball away in the first place, coming right back to trip Kevin Keegan.
Brian, I think as Francis mentioned early on with Tommy Hutchison, he does look as though he's reluctant to do anything really. He gave a very sloppy ball there, which is at Wembley is not really on. It could be a mistake, actually.
It's certainly not on when your side is 3-1 down and there are, what, less than 30 minutes to go. So what are England going to cook up here? Well, that was neat. Ball, in fact, playing the ball between Bell's legs for Gerry Francis, but the Scottish ball wasn't back 10 yards, and I don't think that'll come off again. Watson away up here on the right in case they should try a long one. Well, they did try it again, and it came off, and it's a goal by Francis. Well, the Scots fell for that twice. It almost came off for England, and the referee called them back because the wall wasn't back 10 yards. You would never have thought they could get away with it again, but they did. There's Francis with the shot, a slight deflection there, in off the post. 4-1 to England.
Well, Brian, that was a bad blow. I think possibly that the keeper could have possibly had that. I don't know. It certainly looked from here.
But what a bad thing to get caught like that with the same free kick.
Well, it's unbelievable that Scottish players should be caught with the same free kick. It's unbelievable, really.
Francis, anything to say about that one?
When you said, Brian, that they couldn't fall for it twice, I was going to say, well, silly things have happened at sea, and then it happened.
Well, the Scots will be kicking themselves for that. It's 4-1 then to England, and here's Gordon McQueen, and that really could just about mean it's all up with Scotland. At 3-1, they always had a chance of coming back. At 4-1, I think that chance is gone. And of course, the second goal in the game for Gerry Francis. Johnson, Keegan, Todd, play for Francis, and well, I'm sure the English fans have forgiven that.
It was a Jim Laker ball, that. It beat him on the spin.
Francis Lee obviously very well pleased with the way England have gone now in this second half to get that goal, to put them 4-1 into the lead. Con. Jardine to Con again. It's an awful burden now for Scotland to carry. Still Con going on. But then playing it straight at David Watson. Well, Dalglish was battling well there and came away with it. Now McQueen. Stopped by Bell. Here's Whitworth. Calmly to Todd. And Todd just as calmly to Scotland's Bruce Rioch. Playing in a quick ball there towards Parlane. I think you showed the value of Bruce Rioch there. He pounced on that marginal mistake. And he spotted Parlane all in one glance. That was a good curling cross towards the Scottish number 9 by Bruce Rioch. In fact, there was an infringement there. And another Scottish substitute warming up, Lou Macari. Well, Dennis Law alongside me was suggesting he might take off Hutchison, which will be an extraordinary thing, with Hutchison only just on as substitute. Fancy it might be McDougall, Dennis.
Yes, I think so, Brian.
Now Beattie. And Beattie again. And I'll tell you something else, there aren't many flags from Scotland flying around Wembley at the moment. Wembley, I think, just about as quiet as it's been at any time since 2 o'clock. Watson. Back to Clements. And Lou Macari waiting to come on now. The little Manchester United striker. Ball. It's almost a touch of arrogance about some of the play of Alan Ball. He really is enjoying himself. He loves to beat the Scots. And you can be assured that Ball is loving this situation more than anybody on the England side. Now it's with Shannon. Crossed it again towards Colin Bell. Johnson right in there, and it took a great leap from McQueen to get it away. Beattie, can he get it over? Well, Jardine's there this time, but they still can't get it away. It's with Kevin Keegan for England. Back for Gerry Francis, and there really are no challenges coming from Scotland now. Watson, Keegan, and he's given it away to Conn. Now, can Conn accelerate into a bit of space? Yes, he can! Until Whitworth comes in there, and Keegan comes back to help. Beattie forward this time towards Shannon, but Munro is there. And McDougall, as we forecast, I think is coming off. Ted McDougall going off, and Lou Macari will come on. Macari, who had a poor game against Wales in Cardiff, and in fact was left out of the side against Northern Ireland. So McDougall is off, Macari is on, and Scotland have made their second substitution. I fancy that Don Revie, there's Willie Ormond, I would think a little worried by the situation. Don Revie shouting away his orders, but I would think it's unlikely that he'll make any substitutions now. Jardine, Dalglish, Jardine again, good overlap run there by the Scottish skipper, and not a bad cross either, and what a good dive and catch by Clements. Very good run by Jardine, perfectly placed cross, always going away from the goalkeeper, except that the goalkeeper was there. McGrain miscuing. Todd in. Now Francis. Beattie. Shannon. Well, everything goes for you when you're 4-1 up, and that certainly went for Kevin Beattie there. Finding Shannon again. Ball there, but Hutchison knocking that one away to Alfie Conn. Ball is after him again. Still Conn. McGrain. Dalglish. Rioch is making a great run there for Scotland. But what a good challenge there by Gerry Francis. What a good piece of play by Francis. He's had a marvellous game. 2 goals and some good defence. And some really clever midfield play. That's a free kick too.
I think Gerry Francis has had a marvellous game today, Brian. But one thing is certain, nobody's picking him up. I mean, no Scottish players picking Gerry Francis up. He's just had the run of the park.
I must say the spirit seems to have gone out of Scotland at the moment as well, Dennis. They don't really seem to be hustling at all.
Well, of course, the 4th goal has been very important for England.
Now it's with Keegan, looking for a 5th. But they won't get it that way because Munro was there. Now it's with Colin Todd. Whitworth. Shannon taking that in his stride, another free kick. Dave Watson loping up from the rear for this one again. Conn, Hutchison and McGrain, just Hutchison and McGrain in that wall, played towards the near post. Oh, hit onto the crossbar, and then Watson didn't get it in, and Johnson did! David Johnson! 5-1 to England. Johnson, who got a couple against Wales on Wednesday. Here's the free kick by Alan Ball, playing to the near post, had him always in trouble. He could only push it onto the crossbar. I thought Watson might have got it in. In the end, Johnson did.
Oh, well, Brian, of course, it looked to me as two English players offsides there. It just shows you how the game is going. That Johnson really has not been involved in the game. A tremendous deal. Now he's scored a goal.
Now McQueen. Well, that really does just about finish it all as a contest. And it looks like a really heavy defeat for Scotland here now. I suppose some of the more pessimistic Scots will take their mind back. There's Willie Ormond to something like 1961, when England won by 9-3. And a lot of the Scots are saying, we've had enough, we've come a long way, but 5-1 is just a little more than we can stand. And the police, in fact, are massing down at that far end, but Scotland are coming away again, and Macari couldn't get a touch to that one. Well, if we can have a look at that goal, Dennis Law was saying that a couple of England players were offside. Onto the crossbar. Well, was he offside there? Well, Dennis Law says yes, Francis Lee says no.
No, he cannot be offside if the ball's coming backwards to them, coming off the post. That means that no Englishman is allowed to touch the ball.
Obviously, Francis, you're very biased. It was a clear case of two players offsides.
Scoreboard says it's 5-1 to England, Dennis.
Well, we can't dispute that.
I hate to rub it in, Dennis, but there it is, look.
It was about 10 minutes ago, Brian.
In fact, there are 15 minutes to go. As Jardine is challenged again by Johnson. Well, the Scottish fans are doing their best, even at this late stage, to raise their side, but it's England who are coming forward again, and the challenge seems to have gone out of Scotland as Johnson plays it back for Shannon. Oh, and he's kicked away by McGrain, and that really should have been number 6. Hutchison to Con. Dalglish. Rioch, who's battled and taken up some good positions, and that's a good cross towards Macari. Down goes Clements again. It's going to be such a long journey home for them.
Brian, I thought you said the crowd were quiet.
I think that makes them probably the most remarkable crowd in the world, to have a side 5-1 down and for them still to find the voices to sing the way they're singing. McGrain. Well, the England skipper has done a good job keeping his men going, and Alan Ball will be as delighted as anybody in this England side for the way things have gone. Of course, really so much was decided in those first 6 minutes, setting the pattern for the whole game. Free kick again to Scotland. When England scored those 2 goals, it sapped every bit of confidence that Scots had brought with them to Wembley. Hutchison. got that over well. That's a good cross too. And it took Beattie to come in there and give Clements a chance to come out. England heading for the biggest win they've had against Scotland since that match in 1961 when they won by 9 goals to 3. And if memory serves me right, Jimmy Greaves got 4 that day. Although, of course, England beat Scotland 5-0 in a centenary match at Hampden Park in February '73. And a few empty spaces then on the Scottish terracing now. Bell's backward header. McGrain with the header again. And getting it away. Well, I just hope too many people don't make Willie Ormond the scapegoat for this one, because he really seemed to be getting together a good, well-balanced Scottish side. They were destroyed by those 2 opening goals. And even a manager like Willie Ormond, I don't think can get a side moving after that sort of blow. I think there'll be a great temptation amongst a lot of people to say that Willie Ormond must go. And I think and I hope he's got enough supporters to say that Willie Ormond must stay for a little longer at any rate. Of course, all the contest has been knocked out of this game now. The Scots know that the only thing they can fight for is a bit of respectability in the scoreline. Haven't the ghost of a chance of winning this game, or let alone drawing it now. And so far as England's concerned, it really is just a matter of how much ambition they have, just how many goals they want to see up on that up on that scoreboard by the time another 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes have gone through. Here's David Johnson crossing it in towards Shannon. And McGrain getting it away to Rioch. Rioch beaten though by Keegan. And here's McQueen now for Scotland. Rioch, Dalglish. I should think without doubt this has been the best England performance under Don Revie. He had a good 3-0 win against Czechoslovakia in his opening game, but certainly for an hour of that game England were fairly nondescript. But they've taken the Scots by the throat, they've shaken them, and they've really not let them go. Now it's Alfie Conn. Space there for him, being filled by Watson. Still with Conn, and still with Conn. And Dalglish is there as well, but Beattie is across. And Ball can play a few tricks. Shannon trying to come away from McQueen, a free kick.
Ryan, I thought the score was 5-1. I think we have really found a star on the Scottish side. I think this Alfie Conn will be a great future international. That is one thing that we have salvaged anyway.
And I think Rioch as well.
I must agree, yes. He's played quite well the second half.
You were nodding in agreement, Francis, about Alfie Conn.
Yes, I think he's had a superb game, despite the fact they've been so far down. And he's looked really good. He's taking people on, and he's excited, you know. And he's a fellow everybody would like to watch.
Now Watson. Todd. Johnson. And McGrain. He's been a bit of a battler too, Danny McGrain. Macari up. Parlane up. And McGrain stopped by Watson. Francis. Shannon. Again, trying to gain that yard on Monroe, just to try and get away from him to take control. And again, a Scottish defender clattering in on the back of Mick Shannon. Francis. Ball. Bell. Todd. Whitworth. Well, if the Scottish fans are making this sort of noise when they are 5-1 down, what would it have been like if they'd won? Beattie. Well, a fella came on and his kilt came off behind that English goal. There he goes. He sprawled on the deck and his kilt came off. I thought we were going to get a streaker for a moment. Seven minutes are left, which are now purely academic. Francis, forward for Keegan. Jardine getting in hard on the back of him again. Beattie. Free kick given to England.
I've never seen Dennis Lucas despondent. Cheer up, Dennis. I think it's still anybody's game.
Francis, we've got 7 minutes left.
Right, it's a free kick for England. Alan Ball, who's had a good game as England skipper. I think, Francis, that this has been the best England performance since Don Revie took over.
Yes, and I think the big difference has been the finishing. The chances that England have had, they've stuck them away, and they've stuck them away in great style.
Keegan. Nice little cross coming in towards Shannon, but again, big Gordon McQueen was there. Hutchison. And away he goes. That's Whitworth's. All the cohesion has gone out of them, and a lot of the bite has gone out of them too in this second half. Obstruction there by Rioch on Colin Bell. Well, the idea of playing experienced men that Don Revie took, the likes of Colin Bell in this game, and Alan Ball, and Mike Shannon, Kevin Keegan, it really has paid off for him. Johnson. Now Conn. Nice little touch by Conn for Rioch. Jardine. And England want to bring a substitute on as well. Dave Thomas. Trying to get a few crosses in, I suppose, in the 5 minutes that remain. And Kevin Keegan going off. And look at Don Revie going there. Well, they had their differences earlier in the week, and Revie knows just the contribution that Keegan has made to this England performance this afternoon. And I bet Kevin Keegan is delighted that he saw sense in the end and came back. Now it's with Conn. It'll fall for Alan Ball. Francis. What? Now it's Hutchison. Rioch. Hutchison. Played wide this time for Kenny Dalglish, trying to give a bit of width to the Scottish play on that far side. That's not a bad cross either, but safe into the arms again of Clements. And here's Thomas. Running into trouble, Danny McGrain to Lou Macari. Hutchison. Whitworth getting up, quite able to safely tuck that ball into touch. Alfie Conn then for Scotland. Rioch. Hutchison. Played for McGrain. Hutchison again, letting one go. Oh, and what a good shot and what a good save. One of the few points that Scotland have made in that second half. And Tommy Hutchison, who's had very little to say for himself. Good shot, but what a good save by Ray Clemence. Particularly good when you think that Clemence has had so little to do in this second half, and he's been pretty cold, I would have thought, to pull that sort of save out. McQueen right up for this corner, as you saw, getting his head in, and Bell knocking it away towards Johnson. Now Shannon. Good ball there by Shannon for Johnson. Shannon's in the middle, and so too is Thomas, and so too is Bell. Now Thomas, got time to tee up his shot. Taking it too far, I think, yes. And here's Dalglish. Hutchison, rather. Bell getting there before Dalglish. Rioch, Beattie, had a strong game in the back four. Shannon got through a lot of work. It's not been spectacular work, but he's been taking a lot of the buffeting, Mick Shannon. Now ball. Here's Johnson. Thomas to ball. Touch of arrogance there, really rubbing it in on Scotland at the moment. England's throw. We're now at the end, or just about to the end of the 45 minutes. Be just a little bit of injury time, and also when a Scottish supporter came on, he'll add a minute on for that. Bell shot, England's corner. Well, there's one player on the England bench I'm sure has got mixed feelings. On the right there, Bill Taylor, who in fact is a Scot, the Fulham coach. Scott is turning round to the back there, maybe having a look at the Scottish reserves, I don't know. But a Scot who is an England coach. Thomas then with the corner for England. Deep towards Colin Bell, and a goal kick for Scotland. Two Scottish fans are on the field again. Absolutely senseless. And all they're doing is compounding the theory that Wembley before long will have to have fences like so many other international grounds. Beattie. We played a minute of injury time. The final whistle has gone, and England have scored a really first-class victory, and the fans are roaring onto the field. The Scots are coming on by the score, and England are being forced to run away off the field. And again, the police cordon has been pierced. It happened at the cup final, it's happened here now, and I think that means without doubt that fences will come around Wembley Stadium. But in spite of that bit of disorder, there was nothing but order and efficiency and firepower about that England performance, beating Scotland here by 5 goals to 1. The goals, 2 by Gerry Francis, 1 by Beattie, 1 by Bell, 1 by Johnson, and Scotland's reply coming from the penalty spot by Bruce Rioch. England 5, Scotland 1. We're going to take a short break now, and after that break we should get the views of...
Gerry Francis, how certain were you before the game that you were actually going to play?
Well, I wasn't at all certain, you know, until the boss told me Friday. I mean, no one's certain whether we're going to play or not. We just had to wait until the boss told us, and he told me Friday, and that's when I knew I was playing. And
your first goal for England, you'll no doubt remember that forever. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the ball came to me and I pushed it into a bit of space, and the fella that was marking me slipped, and I thought, you know, I'm going to go on and have a go. I went on and had a go, and that was it, 1-0.
Clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
And of course you were very much involved with another one, weren't you?
Yeah, I think the third one. We played a couple of 1-2s and it came back to Colin Bell and he put it away.
And your second goal, remember that one too?
It was a free kick and I tried to curl it around the wall and it took a deflection, I think, and just went in off the post. And
the performance generally of the England side, what do you think of it?
Well, I mean, you was there. I thought it was superb today.
And you personally enjoyed yourself, no doubt, terrific.
Very much, yeah.
Gerry Francis, thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye.
And Don Revie, the best England win since 1961. What pleased you most about this performance?
Well, I thought on Wednesday night there was a little bit of pattern starting to take shape, and I thought the balance was better of the team. I thought the passing was better, and today they started to put it all together, and we got the early goal that made a tremendous difference. Gerry Francis had a wonderful game, and he just got inside the fellow who slipped, and then he whacked it past Gordon McQueen. It fitted in the right spot. That was just the ideal situation, the ideal start we wanted. Then the next ball was a great ball from Alan Ball, who's knocked up over the full-back side, and Kevin Beattie took it down the line, crossed it first time, and Kevin Beattie creeped up on the blind side and the header. I would say the team performance as a whole, not the result.
But in your wildest dreams, did you expect them to do anything like this?
No, not to this extent, being very honest. But I was delighted the way they played and the performance.
And then when you did get 2 goals up, you seemed to slow down a bit. It seemed to hamper you a little bit.
Well, I said there's a time to play quick and there's a time to play slow in football. I think in our football at times we try to play far too fast, but we've had an awful lot of criticism in the past 7 or 8 days. This has done the team an awful lot of good, this result this afternoon.
Now, looking to the future, how far now are you to getting together, do you think, a World Cup squad?
Not very far, about 25%. We've had 8 matches, we've had 5 wins and 3 draws. And the way I've chopped and changed players about in teams, I haven't given them a chance to really settle down. We've got this week to get together in June, which will help an awful lot now. Now we can talk about the 8 matches and work out things morning and afternoon. It will be absolutely wonderful.
And do you think you have actually got enough international class players to make a World Cup winning side?
I think that if the television and press talked about our good players in this country, there'd be world class players on the other side of the world, but we don't believe in them enough. I do. It's my job to make them believe. And I think today we've seen a few.
Certainly did. Thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Don't know. Can you ask him if they want Willie Ormond at all?
Still, the Scottish fans are on this Wembley pitch with the match 20 minutes over and more. And in fact, there must be something like 250 police out there now. They've gently charged them from one end of the field to the other, but the Scottish supporters found a loophole in that chain, got round onto the field again, and so the police will have to do that all over again. I think it's going to take a long time to get these Scottish fans away from Wembley tonight. And it's going to be a long, long journey home for them. The 8 miles trek back into the centre of town, and then the 500-mile journey home. Already they're now starting a sit-down in the centre circle, and the police there have clearly got a long job on their hands. Let's hope it's not a violent one.